to Men's Reflection. I'm your host, Terry. We are blessed to have you back. We hope that you have hit that subscription and so that you can have and so that you may not miss any episode that will be airing. In this show, we talk about our men, we discuss our brothers, we discuss our uncles, our fathers, our husbands, because we want to understand them. We want to understand what it is to be like a man and what are the challenges that they go through. As we promised earlier, we told you that on board we'll be bringing amazing guests, and so that they can help us to understand what it is to be a man, and maybe as women we will be able to understand them better, so that we can be able to live with them, because you know what, we cannot do without them. So for this particular episode, we are again back at Canaan Resort. It's a restaurant, it's a resort that has quite some amazing facilities. They have some great and very conducive gardens that you can use for parties, graduation, your children parties, and you can use it for weddings and many other parties that we can hold. They also have a play center they that is very much safe. They have a swimming pool, and they have amazing accommodation that they have brought on board. Hiyo haijakaa sana, so you can check them out. Their rate card is very friendly. Be sure to visit Canaan Resort. Canaan is on your way to Keretire, in a place called Mudatare in Embu County. We bless God for them and for the amazing job that they are doing to support us and even to allow us to be able to do these shows in their facility. So on board today, we have a guest that we have interacted with. His passion for education for the boy child is on another level. The last time we interacted with him, we felt like time has flown out so fast that we could not even exhaust whatever we were to discuss. And because we agreed that in this channel we are going to be celebrating our men and the milestone they have, we want to understand him better. It's none other but a high school teacher that was here the other day. His name is Mr Murithi. David, we want to know who is Mr Murithi, because we want to share a success journey of a professional man that is able to be in career. He's a family man. He's very passionate about whatever he is doing, and he is also an elder in his church. So is it possible for a man to have it all round? Yes, it's possible. So Mr. Murithi is going to help us to understand, how do we balance? What are the challenges that we can expect, or even a man out there that is trying to get into career can go through? With that, please, my viewers, help me to welcome him on board. Mr. Murithi, good to have you back. Thank you so much for the last session that we have. I believe that our viewers benefited a lot from it. We want to know, who is Mr. Murithi? From where did he grow up? What are the challenges? How did he end up becoming teacher wa Mao? And we will be glad, me and my viewers, to get to know you better. We take this opportunity to honor you and to celebrate you for the amazing job you do in impacting the lives of the young people. So welcome on board. Let us know who you are. Who is Murithi?
Thank you, Terry, for having me today.
You're welcome.
It's good you have asked that question, and I will answer it. Murithi David is a career teacher, and coming from a humble background. I grew up in Itabu area.
Oh, okay.
Itabu area.
That is Embu County.
Embu County, and Embu West sub-county. I want to say this, that from my tender age, we went to a public primary school, joined a day secondary school from a high school, and later on joined Nairobi University.
Wow, from day school somewhere in Embu interior to Nairobi University.
To Nairobi University.
Wow.
And I want to say that the journey has not been very simple.
Okay.
Just like you have said that there are challenges that a boy child goes through, I can attest to that. That actually, just like I've told you about a humble background, we have grown from ile tunasema ya kwamba from grassroots, yani mali mnakuwa na mashida kiasi, but then that did not deter me from who I am today. Therefore, I want to encourage every other person who is out there that from my story learn. They can learn that it's possible to make it in life, and there's no need of giving it up. Because if giving up was an option, then I'm one person who would have given up.
You know,
just like I've told you.
We could think that the people that go to UN, as we all call it, they are the people from Alliance, from provincial schools, kangaroo schools, to just mention a few.
Yes.
I think the perception that we have is that the people that make it to Akina KU, the big universities, should come from big schools. So what would you tell a young man that is struggling in a day school, that feels like sometimes even whatever it is that is needed to learn, hakuna hata mafuta ya taa? I know you face such challenges.
Yes, sure.
So what is your word? So does that mean our background doesn't determine our future maybe?
I'll say that our background may not determine our future. What determines our future is how we handle our situations. When we go through situations in life, when we find ourselves in that background that we are calling humble, how do you handle it? And I want to tell you that if I can remember our primary school, we just went without shoes to school. And when we had shoes, it was cheap ones. Ukiwa huko class 7, class 8, kule zingine wakati mwingine unazivaa wakati mnaenda tour, you see.
You could even borrow.
Yes, you could even borrow the shoes. Then here comes, you have done your class 8, and it's like 2 of us are in secondary school. Mzee is not employed by the government, ni kazi, kutafuta kazi hapa na pale, but I like him, he's a hard working man. So at that point of in time, we went to a day secondary school. Now what's motivating there, I will tell you, is that the syllabus that you undergo when you are in a day school, the syllabus in Mangu, the syllabus in Araya, in those big schools that we are talking about, is the same book 1, the same book 2, the same book 3, the same book 4. Therefore, what you do with the books is what is important, not where you are. Therefore, that was my notion when I went to Form 1. And I was glad that I joined a school where many of those who had passed in our area, in our neighboring primary schools, we had all joined Itabwa Day Secondary School. By then it was there were no resources. In fact, if you go there today, and even if when we visit there today, we still see a different school, because now resources are plenty with the CDF issues, now with the parents putting up some structures and administration blocks. There were no administration blocks. There were only 4 classes in that school, but there were textbooks, and we could read there. Form 1, secondary Form 1, secondary mathematics, secondary all those books. And we knew that what we needed was to work. And after working, therefore we shall do a common exam, we shall join the same facilities in the country, and that was the positivity in mind. That's what I would talk about. Therefore, we went through the day school for the 4 years, and I could remember the competition was very stiff. You could find yourself in top 10, other times you're not in top 10, and so on. So next time you work very hard so that you can achieve top 10, and that competition was very good until we got to Form 4, whereby in my class, about 16 students joined the university.
From a day school.
From a day school.
That means day schools perform.
They perform. I tell you, Terry, it's people who work. It's a student who work in a school, not their buildings.
You know when we were growing up, I think we used to be told, there's a saying that we used to be told, being in the right place, at the right time, doing the right thing. And I think that would have amounted to a very positive class of 16 people joining campus, and very self-disciplined class. Does that mean that in high school, the day school that you are in, everyone was just like, I just want to join university? You know the motivation that comes with. What was the motivation behind all of you working hard? As in, you could understand, hapa kuna compares, hapa si jokes.
So one, I would say that we under a team of teachers who would motivate us. Right from Form 1. They will come talk to us, just like the same information I'm giving you today. They will come and tell us, it doesn't matter where you are, just work on your books. I remember the mathematics teacher, for every lesson, he says that when you solve this, for example, I can remember like in Form 2, equations of straight line, he says that the same equations of straight line are the same in other big schools. So, and when we cross school, we could go and interact with those people who are in the big schools. And then we could find that what we are running there is the same. In fact, in some aspects, we could show them
Wow.
Ukiona unaonyesha mtu ambaye anakuambia niko kangaru na hesabu yenye anafanya au unafanya, that one would motivate us, and we knew that we were in the right place at the right time. And therefore, what I want to encourage a person who is out there and maybe you are feeling like where I am, the school where I'm schooling now is like my life is not very much outlined, ama life yangu ni kama iko sawa because of where I am. Where you are schooling doesn't matter. What matters is what you are doing in your time in that school. And that's what kept us going. That we knew that once you work very hard, at the end of the day, you're going to have success in life. And our teachers would keep that word, keep us on our toes. And I remember that there was also a lot of unity. Kama unajua hesabu unaonyesha huyu. Kama unajua chemistry, you share with the other people. And we could have discussion groups. I remember you could even go to school on Sundays. Wow. Sunday afternoon, after we are doing our church, we could go for mathematics sessions.
Were the teachers available?
Yeah, one of our teachers who was the head teacher and was teaching mathematics then would come to school.
That was quite a dedication.
Yes, come on
Sunday.
Yeah, on a Sunday afternoon.
Wow.
And maybe not even teaching, but finding out what is this mathematics, what is this topic that's giving you problems.
Even you have to come on Sunday.
Yeah, what are the questions that you are having? In fact, it was available for us. That's what I will say.
That's amazing.
Available teachers and dedicated students is what kept us going.
We celebrate that man wherever he is.
Yes, Mr. Kimani, I celebrate him.
Oh, Mr. Kimani, wherever you are, if you are going to watch this video, or anyone that knows Mr. Kimani, that was once a head teacher in Embu, you are celebrated because you caused an impact. We pray that God bless you for what you did. That was amazing. That was a real passion and motivation for you guys.
Sure.
You completed. Now you are done with high school. What happens from there?
I'm done with the high school. We are there. Those days we could stay 2 years.
Yeah, before you
join university. And just like I told you, we are from humble background. So once you complete school, you have to go to find something that you can do with yourself for the 2 years.
Yeah.
And I remember that once we finished high school, we are waiting to be placed. By then it was a JAB, Joint Admission Board.
Yeah.
It's the one that was admitting students then. So as we were waiting for the 2 years, I remember we could go for Vibarua. We just go for Vibarua. I would join my aunties and my elder brother who had just finished high school, an uncle of mine. We would go tunalimia mahindi kwa watu, and we would get some coins.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ulikuwa mnalipa pesa ngapi mwalimu?
I remember my first day I made, I think, was it 55 shillings?
55?
Yes. 55 shillings because the pay would depend on the amount of work that you do.
Okay.
So when my auntie and alikuwa mezoea anafanya 200, we could do our 55 shillings, another 55 shillings. By then, you could buy a shirt with 100 plus. So we were comfortable then. And I also remember that was after 1 year, I then ventured into growing some sukuma wikis and supplying them in the village because at home, we have a borehole.
Okay.
We had a borehole. So I was utilizing it to get some greens, that is the sukuma wiki, some cabbages, some spinach.
So that time, when you are doing all those manual jobs, you are a student, a young man that is waiting to join university. Yeah. Others would not have even told the parents, you don't know what I got in KCSE. I'm waiting for university, and university is not for these manual jobs. You know, we are living at a time whereby people have gotten to a place of thinking employment is all about white collar jobs. We are looking, there is a young man out there that maybe has even completed, leave alone gained the access to the university. Some have even completed. Yeah. You can bear me witness. They don't have a job. There is a shamba at home. And truth remains, watu bado wanakula sukuma na spinach. It doesn't matter, because I remember also when we were growing up, we could do the same. There's a stream at home, and we could sell, I think, a kg of sukuma wiki. My producer can bear me witness. I think a kg of sukuma wiki would go for 15 bob, and you could use that money. But the motivation was, kwanza kila siku lazima ungechotelea maji. So what would be your word to a young man that doesn't have a white collar job, is waiting? We have seen even some going to an extent of tearing their certificates down. Some are burning them up. But for me, I feel like a man is not a man because you're working in an office. it's all about unajituma. There is an MP in Manyata, nini slogan yake inakuanga form ni kujituma. What would you tell such kind of a young man that is maybe amesoma hajapata job, mwingine hata hakupita mwalimu, but ako hapo tu, kuna shamba? What would you tell them?
So one, I would want to say this, Terry, that once you get some cash with you, it doesn't matter the kind of work that you have done. If I'm paid 1,000 for my sukuma wiki and you are paid 1,000 for being a human resource,
1,000 is 1,000.
Haitiandiki ni ya sukuma, and the value is the same. And the value is the same. So what I want to tell the young people, like us, we are going to sukuma wiki, just like you were saying, we are joining university. So I will not sit in that village and say that here I've scored an A- and I'm ready to join university. And in the case, I'm not supposed to go start growing sukuma wiki or go to shambas and start cultivating to get this. But because the cash help me and solve my problem. You know that one aspect about money, the cash that we even is to solve our problems. So if you can be able to do a kind of a job, once you have completed your high school, you have completed your university, you have your certificate, as you're waiting now to be placed where you have trained, it's good that you take other jobs that are available. Go to that mjengo. You see, like now in the mjengo industries, people are making 1,000 in a day. And in some white collar jobs, you cannot make 1,000 a day. So if we are very choosy, then the man in you will not be able to come out very well. In other words, men are actually God designed us such that you can be able to work in any other field, whatever environment that you are in. Unapaswa kujikaza kama mwanaume and do the kind of work that's available. So what I want to urge those people who have either trained as a lawyer, you have trained either as an economist, you have trained actuarial science and so on and so forth, and you have not been able to get a job. Get the job that is available.
Look for something.
Something that is going to bring a coin to your pocket. And that way, in the process of doing that job, you're going to get more ideas. You're going to get some more networks.
With an open mind.
Exactly. Like now, if you go to Mjengo and you get 1,000, you have now money to apply for job A, job B, job C. So when you place now those adverts, when you get those adverts and you have made the applications, then you continue working here and there. You have now the cash that can help you now to search for that
You
job.
Don't have to keep on going to your parent. Unataka kwenda, I want to revamp my CV.
Exactly.
I want to do photocopies, because trust me, by the time you get a job, unakwanga umepeleka photocopies mahali kwingi.
So many.
And they need money. Wow, that is nice.
So I encourage people to work.
Take what is available.
Take what is available. And don't get discouraged because what is available, you should be able to know that there is a transition. In other words, people need to understand that there is a transition between schooling and job. There is a
gap.
There is a period that is there. And in that gap, there are two things that can happen. You can either transit very well, or you can even lose it all. Depending on how you handle that gap.
Because again, for 2 years to wait for you to be placed in your university, those 2 years you could have been married, mwalimu, you have whatever it takes. Those 2 years you could have gotten into drugs. Just, I think it's about self-discipline and being focused, remaining true to your purpose, your God-given purpose, which we are not saying it's a walk in the park. We are saying it's about you knowing there is a cost to be paid for everything you get. So the gap will be there, but as an individual you need to, because I want to believe you are there where you are because you are self-motivated before you were motivated by the outside. You knew the path you wanted to take.
So once you complete your course, the course that you are doing, like now I want to particularly say about the teaching profession. You train, but you have to have a duration like 3-4 years before you get employment, like from TSC. Some have even to wait up to 5 years and so. So if you are not very dynamic on, if you are very rigid that it's only what I'm trained, if I don't get a work based on what I have trained, then you have some problems. So what I want to encourage people is, ukimaliza kazi, ukimaliza shule, that transition period, get something that you can do. Like when we completed school, I remember at that time many of my classmates That's after the 4 years course, and we are here. We are graduating in December, and many people are saying, "Oh, it's not good to leave the city. Having been in the city for the 4 years, it's not good to leave the city. You check around, and when they are checking around now, your parents will come in and now maybe pay your house, do this and that." But some of us were feeling that, for example, on my side, I was feeling that back home, my parents have another baggage of my siblings.
Yeah.
They are there. My sisters, my brothers
so
were in high
have
school.
To task them
Therefore,
to
I
pay
may
your
not trust
rent
them.
doing nothing
Exactly.
Okay.
And just like you've said, there was land at home. There was something that we could do as we are looking for
Jobs.
other jobs. So we could go for the borough management jobs. So I went back home, and in fact went back to the farming, a little bit of farming
with your certificates,
with
a
my degree certificate.
with your
Yes,
degree. Wow.
with my degree certificate, I still went back, did some farming for a few months. The little money that I got, I applied for BOM jobs here and there, and finally I got one,
Okay.
which I was able to do. Although I want to say that I was lucky. After 1.5 years out there, I still secured a job.
Okay.
Yeah. Therefore, what I want to tell people is that once you exit, and in fact, most of the universities have a program whereby they are talking to the young graduates, the interns. Yeah. Once they graduate, they are able to be taken through a session whereby they are told about the jobs that are available, what they can do. They can also be self-employed. You can get other forms of employment, self-employment, and the cash you get, how you utilize it in a better way.
Now you have finished your course, your bachelor, you're back at home, you now have a job. So what happened from there? You are a family man.
Yes.
You are someone that is in the leadership in the church, if I got that right. So how did you, what happened?
So what happens is that I get a job.
Oh, you got a job today and decided, now I have money. The next remaining thing is a woman. No. I need to get married.
Actually not.
Yeah.
Let me say not. Because also transiting from singlehood to marriage
Yeah.
is also another process. That if you are not careful about, it can also mess out your life. So as a man, when I got out a job, I had to find out now how I had to stabilize a few things, like have a kashamba somewhere, build a home somewhere, a house. And there, now, when I feel now that I'm financially stable, I can be able to cater for our family needs. That's now when I actually decided about family.
So what you're saying is, after you got your job, government to be specific, a well-paying job, you did not rush to settling down.
Yes.
You took time for yourself. Were you not getting pressure from your parents, your peers? Because we are in a generation whereby marriage is prioritized so much, even if we are not capable. I'm not saying marriage is bad. Yes. I'm just saying I feel like we are making marriage to overlap things that we are supposed to be doing first and achieving first. And with that, the time that we are supposed to spend with yourself, the time of figuring out, I'm David, I want to have this kind of life, and I need this kind of order in my life. We are running so much. So how did you deal with the pressure? Or maybe your parents were not pressuring you enough to, you now have money, you go home for Christmas, like we were in just the other day, and we are like, unatuletea mtu lini? Because people would expect that there is a certain system that we are subjected to in our society. Being born, primary, secondary, university, marriage. That is, I think, the order. But for you, I think you post at some point. How did you deal with all the pressures? How did you handle that?
A good question there, Teddy. Let me say this. Just like any other man in society, that pressure is usually there. In fact, I could remember that you could go for family gatherings.
Mtu wako ako wapi?
Yeah, unasikia auntie yako amekuuliza wapi mtu? Kwani what's happening? So just like any other man out there, we get a lot of questions from our relatives, from our own parents, and so on. So they feel like you are stable, you have a job here, and it's good that now you start a family, which is okay for society. I would say that it's still okay. That pressure is also necessary. It keeps reminding a person that what the expectation of society, is that you have a family. But then we must balance between that. the pressure from the society vis-a-vis what you want to do, because marriage again is a permanent thing. You're getting to marriage, not to
try.
Exactly.
It's not a try and error thing.
It's not a try and error.
Okay.
So you get in there permanently for the rest of your life. And therefore you must take time. You must take time. You must know your partner. You must know that there are responsibilities that come with marriage. And therefore, if you feel like now you want to go to do a certain course, you feel that you want to do other things before you get married, that's the time you have to balance between those things. Because once you enter into marriage, there are some things that maybe you may have plans to do, but they may not be possible. Okay. Let me say that. Therefore, I remember that there was that small pressure there, but still I had to balance. Just like I told you, that you have started earning some cash here, and you need to start a family, and at the same time, you have to know that the family, there will be some responsibilities. There is also the aspect of the church. The church also expects that they are growing youths. Have a wedding here and there. Therefore, there is also some pressure from the church. I would say
that pressure of harusi zimetendeka mingi. Na wewe hata tukikuangalia unafaa kukua hapo, lakini hata hauna dalili, tuko karibu tukutafutie.
Exactly.
Ni kama umeshindwa kutafuta. Can you imagine?
And there's also pressure from your classmates. Classmates, you attend their weddings here today. Mmoja unaenda unasimamia huyu, unasimamia yule, na wewe bado.
Baby shower. Exactly. Kidogo baby shower ndizo hizo.
And when you get there, somebody or the MC says, next in you, next in you, you know that thing.
Yes, I know.
So those things happen, but I want to, what advice I would give to the young men who are growing? Let us not rush because of pressure. At the same time, let us not delay to get married, because it's also a necessity in life.
So how can a young man balance?
Exactly. How do we balance between the pressure that is there? People are giving you pressure that they want you to get married. At the same time, you don't want to delay in life, and so on. So this is what I would say. Gauge yourself. How financially, how mentally are you prepared to get to transit to marriage?
So that means for a young man to be able to function to be functional maybe in marriage, they have maybe to check how their level of maturity spiritually, financially, emotionally, and maybe also physically.
Sure.
Okay.
They have to check on those aspects, how they're going to balance them, and also if what's their social life. For example, you cannot start dating a lady today, and because there's a lot of pressure from home, then the next month mko nyumbani ati unaenda umempelekea wazazi, so simply because there is pressure. So what I want to say is this, look at how your social life, how have you conducted your socialization with the partner that you want to settle with. Once you've gotten to the levels where maturity can allow you now to transit to marriage in that relationship, that's now the right time to do that. But not out of pressure from people, not out of maybe you're feeling that I've gotten old, things like that.
You know, that has reminded me, we were in the festive season.
Yes.
And TikTok, social media, you could see husband for hire and wife for hire.
Yes.
Because apparently the parent have kept on insisting, and then maybe a young man, you know, the generation that we are in, a young man would hire a woman, and a lady would ask, who is willing to go, show me to your mother, for the pressure to, you know, to calm down a little bit, and then the lady would do the same. But that takes me back to our parents and the people that are in our lives. Do you think sometimes they pressure the people, the children, so much into marriage that someone would make some mistakes? Or is it that us, we overlook what our stability is about, that we rush into marriage, maybe forgetting the responsibility part of marriage and featuring on the benefit of marriage? Because truth be told, everything has its pros and cons. So do you think maybe the parents needs to allow their children to transit in their lives as far as they are doing okay, for them to avoid saying, by the way, isipokuwa ni wewe, sikuwa ready, you know that, because it hurts to a parent. Put yourself in those parents' shoes, because they thought marriage is the solution. So do you think the parent should allow their sons and daughters transit slowly and let their lives take a course?
I strongly think that, Terry.
Mm-hmm.
Why? For example, if you have let me say 5 male children,
Yeah.
and then there's the firstborn, secondborn, thirdborn, fourth, and the fifth.
Mm-hmm.
If the firstborn has gotten married,
Yeah.
then the secondborn ajaoa, then the thirdborn aoe, the fourthborn aoe. As a parent, you may give a lot of pleasure to the secondborn without maybe putting some things into consideration.
Mm-hmm.
Just the secondborn might get married because maybe thirdborn ameoa, fourthborn ameoa, fifthborn atalioa na akapata watoto. So you're like you're going home and you are feeling like you are alienated.
You are alone.
Yeah, you are alone. You are all alone. So what I would want to tell the parent is that the growth levels, our growth levels are different. Every child is unique in their own way. Just like the biblical aspect that we are created in our own uniqueness. There is uniqueness in every child.
True.
So let us not pressure child A because child B maybe has gotten to marriage. Maybe child B has bought a new car, you are now challenging child A. As a parent, we are failing there.
You know, there is a secular, I'm raised by a mother that is born again, but wisdom wise she would listen a lot to some we would call them secular artists. So there is a song that has been sung by one of the secular artists na ameimba akasema, mama nikikuja nyumbani wacha kunikompea au nipokei jinsi ambavyo unapokea wale wengine, kwa sababu mimi boot ya actually sina boot. Others are coming when the boot is full. Me, I'm just coming with a paper bag. And he was like, when I come home like that, even thank God that I came, because maybe some of the people kwanza we have in the cities, they even don't have fare to come.
Sure.
Because you don't know what they are doing. Wao wako Nairobi wamejikaza. So you think also our parents should understand the diversity that we have in terms of our income and to be able to come down and support everyone, because it is true. Kuna wazazi ambao wewe ukikuja venye umekuja haupokelewi na mtu sababu hakuna kitu umepack mahali pale.
Sure.
You know, and that I think also has affected the boy child a lot and the men, because someone would feel like even in those family gathering you don't need me. And the moment now a lady comes in such kind of a setup, what happens is the gap becomes, because the love the man is not able to get, he can be able to get it from this woman. So he is, the next thing that is going to happen, the woman also will be alienated from the main family because of the way they treated. So what is your word to the parent when it comes to those? How did your parent, or even right now, because I'm sure you have your brothers, you are not in the same level.
Yes.
You have not told us about the others, which is okay, but how do they balance the two?
So what I would say is that just like I've told you, we are different, we are unique. Your child A will get a job before child B. Or maybe the two get the job, but their income is different. The way also challenges that they encounter are different. Like now, Terry, you could be staying in Nairobi, I could be staying in Embu. So with my employment of 40,000, your employment of 80,000, I could be more available to my parents than you are.
Myself.
In that Christmas period or when we visit home, I could come with more items because I have less expenditures because I'm living in a rural
place
side of the country. But you are living in the urban city, so your high income is still not available for your own family.
Everything is money.
Therefore, what I would advise the parent, or what I would say, even what happens to my parents, is that they accept. They should be able to take each one of us with their own uniqueness. Okay. When I go and give them 1,000 shillings, and my sister or my brother gives them 2,000 shillings, they should appreciate both of us, because that is our ability. At the same time, I want to say this, as children, no matter how much you are earning, it's not very good to remember our parents. Yeah, give back home. Remember that mommy, that daddy, they could be in their old age, or they could also be in a scenario where they require to be appreciated. You see, a parent may be having money, but when you give that 1,000 shillings as appreciation, they feel, my daughter remembers that I did something to them. So it plays a great role there. So what I will say is that it's good we balance. Let us not alienate children depending on how much they earn, ile gari ambayo amekuja nayo nyumbani, how frequent they come home. but at the same time, as children, let us also balance it and remember that
responsibility.
We must give back home.
To the
We must give back home.
After all, they took care of us. It's also good that we can give back. So we want to get to know the part of now you transitioned, you're married, you're a teacher. I can see my producer is signaling me about time. So we want to know, how do you strike a balance? You're married, and I tend to think you're a father of two girls.
Sure.
So how has it been? How do you balance everything together?
Yeah, this is how I've been able to balance it. One is that during our sessions, for example, as we go for a term, then a holiday, then another term, a holiday, 3 times in a year.
In the future, we want your jobs. We want a job whereby we go for a holiday for a month.
Yes. So somehow we in a day when we are in school, that's when the sessions are on. You're able to go to that work at 8 as required of us, and leave late maybe in the evening, because you could be having classes all the way to 6, or activities like sports, activities like science and engineering, and you have to nurture those students up to about 6 and so on, or you're on duty. But then after that, so this period you take it now for your profession. Uko kazini. But at the same time, you don't forget that you are still a parent. So once in a while, now that technology has helped us to be able to know the whereabouts of our children, you can call school, especially in the early childhood. You know, early childhood, mtoto pengine kwa shule, you want to know how they are doing. Maybe uliwapeleka shule juzi, kwa hivyo hata hajazoea ile kukaa shule, you want to know from. So a mobile phone will help you with that. Then once you get home, you have time for your children. Let me say that we have a problem with our generation, because phones have become the order of the day. Social media, you have so many other wanaita side hustle. So unapata ukitoka kazi, you're still on the phone, Imefika saa wakati wa news, you're on the news, and you have no time to maybe interact with your own children. So what I would say is that, and what I've been trying to do is, after work, I ensure that I have some time for my children to know how are they doing in school, how was their day, and so on and so forth.
How old are they?
My elder daughter is 5 years, and the other one is in fact 6 years now. She will be turning 6 in February this year. Then the other one is 2 years, a 2-year-old. Therefore, the 6-year-old is already in PP1. Yes, and therefore, what I do when I get home, I will find out what homework did you have, or did you have any challenge in school, and so on and so forth. You have the parent-child talk, one-on-one. You have some time with her and talk to her.
But in that busy schedule, you also need to make time for your wife.
Exactly.
Otherwise, so in simple, we can say that Mr Murithi in the house, he has 3 girls. Sure. And you also have to make time.
Yes, you have to have time for them. Interact with their mother, know how was her day, what are some of the challenges that could be there even in the house, and so on. Just like any other husband, you want to know how things are flowing on at home. Therefore, you have to balance between that. In other words, you have to create time for your career, in as much as you're doing your work and you're doing that. At the same time, have time for your children and your wife. At the same time, have even time for the church. Because in as much as you have busy schedules, there are also other programs that come in between the week for the church. Do you have time for them? That's the question that maybe I would proposing to many of our parents and people who are in career. You find that maybe you find that you are excused because you are doing career, because you are in career 1, 2, 3. Kuna mahali tunaelewa, lakini if we can be able to balance our because spirituality is also part of us,
of
our lives.
Because there's one thing that I normally believe in, and I think it is true. Hakuna shortcut. Time is never there. Time is created.
Sure.
And someone will always create time for whatever is important. So we want to. I can see that we are so much far behind time, and we would have wanted to know what are, being in marriage, what are some of the challenges. Do you think that by the time you brought someone else in your life, you are ready enough? And I want to believe that we will have a session to discuss that and to discuss the role of you as a father to those children. Because truth be told, They don't care what you do. All they know is dad needs to be here. So in the morning when you go, you have to go look for money, but in the evening they want dad should know what is happening. And I think that is a challenge that we have. And we hope that as we continue to have this conversation, we are going to learn on how to balance. Because for me, this is one thing I believe, that for a man to be whole, he also has to understand himself, take time alone. You know, the way you took time before joining campus and after campus, that way you are able to know. And we are living at a time whereby we want to do so many things at the same time. We want to have everything, marriage, career, everything packed. But we forget there is that gap that will always be there. But you have managed it. And the other day, my viewers, by the way, I managed to attend a service, and there was this muheshimiwa that came, and she praised this guy. She was so much appreciative of the work that he did, because I think at some point he has mentored and assisted the son so much in some issues that were there. That means he's so much passionate about his work. And as we had said earlier, this channel is also about celebrating men that are doing and causing an impact in the society and in our lives in the different way. And today we want to appreciate you. You are doing an amazing job.
Thank you.
Continue with the same spirit, and we pray that God, who sees in secret, will be able to reward you.
Sure.
We want to wish you all the best. You will always have, we want to believe that we can count on you anytime, so that we can discuss the various issues. The last time we discussed about the challenges a boy child is facing in education, we could not even exhaust.
Sure.
So we are looking forward to having Mr. Murithi back on board again, so that we can discuss much more on the things, the areas of men in career, areas of men in parenting, areas of men in marriages, and also in the areas of men in the society and nation as a whole. So for this time round, we want to pause there. We appreciate so much for being part of this. Mr. Murithi, it was good knowing you.
Thank you.
We appreciate so much for coming on board. Me and my viewers, we thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to visit Canaan Resort. You can see their facilities, and I'm sure you are not going to regret it. So today, that is all for today. Don't forget to subscribe and to share this video. It is possible for a man to have it all, but as Mr. Murithi has made us to understand, you must first understand yourself and know where you are going, because anybody that doesn't know where he is going, I don't think he can get lost. You know, any path can take him anywhere, but if you know where you are going, when you take the wrong path, I believe you'll be able to understand, hey, I don't think I'm taking the right route. So God bless you so much. Thank you, and have a lovely time.